For those of you who may not live in the area or you're otherwise not up on local current events, we've had a lot of accidents lately. By my count, 4 accidents within 2 weeks with 5 fatalities and at least 1 extremely serious injury. As I stand here, it is entirely possible those statistics are already obsolete. And it's taken a real toll on the police and other first responders. As one of the volunteer chaplains of the Sheriff's Department, I helped out with 2 out of 4 of the accidents. And to be honest with you, for about a week, it was hard for me to think of anything else. Maybe you have had periods in your life like that, but these are the sorts of thoughts that you go to bed with and you wake up with. And I can even tell you when the shock wore off and the full reality of it hit me. It was the day after accident number 3. Happened to be my day off, so I was cooking. I tend to do that on my day off. So I was making myself homemade fried rice with triple eggs, jalapeno peppers, and bacon. The most American fried rice you could ask for. And before I just went nuts on that, like the 2,000 calorie, bowl of fried rice, I said I said grace, as I always do before meals, and the prayer was more meaningful than usual, because I was just filled with this sense of gratitude that I was around and alive to enjoy something as heavenly as a big bowl of fried rice. How often do we take things like that for granted? Because at the same time, we have a great deal to celebrate. We had a wedding yesterday. We've got a wedding anniversary blessing today. Baptism later this morning. A bunch of baptisms on the way later on. We had a lovely Father's Day. Hopefully most of you would agree with that. 4th of July is right around the corner. It is not all doom and gloom. Far from it. But the readings today, the readings are screaming at us to reflect on life and death. The first reading, God did not make death, nor does he rejoice in the destruction of the living. God formed man to be imperishable. In the gospel, the child is not dead but asleep. Little girl, I say to you, arise. The Bible constantly tells us that the Lord is God of the living. He is the origin of all living things. He is where all living things are ultimately drawn to. And Christ does not lose us ever, no matter what. But when life gets sad, when we lose people we love, especially when we lose people well before their time, we are not called to despair or become despondent. But on the contrary, these moments in life, they absolutely have a purpose. They afford us the opportunity to open our eyes and to remember what's really important. We need wake-up calls like that from time to time. What if you got a glimpse of the future? What if the next car accident is yours? Or what if it's your best friend's? And there is nothing you can do to change that? What would you do differently? I know that's a cliched question. You've all heard that 1,000 times, but it's a valid question, so we're going to ask it 1,001 times today. What would you do if you knew that time was running out? Because this is one place where formal religion offers a real advantage over having a few vague spiritual beliefs that most people have deep down. Because when your faith is serious enough to get you out of bed on Sunday, you're probably in relationship with God, at least a little bit, because it means something to you, which is pretty much a core concept of church in the first place. If you not only have faith, hope, and love within your soul, but when you're willing to do something about it, then you put yourself in a very fine position to live the very best life you can. It doesn't come with a guarantee, of course. We mess up, we abuse our faith. All these things happen from time to time, and we have to learn from our mistakes. But if we totally ignore those theological virtues of faith, hope, and love, we run a terrible risk. We run the risk of taking life for granted. We argue and we fight and we bicker about things that just don't matter. And we act as if life will go on this way forever. And it just doesn't happen. Things change, things end. And it's when we're confronted with that reality, that is when we tend to remember the things that are truly critical and worthy of our attention. I hope that all of us here can avoid the trap of being focused too much on petty problems, but instead that we can live our lives to the very fullest degree. And I am telling you, your faith helps you do that, because faith puts into focus the things that really matter in life. And you will find that it's not about a fancy car or the 15 minutes of fame. Those things aren't going to cut it. These people that were involved in these terrible accidents lately, no one was talking about material wealth or status in the hospital. And we weren't talking about the latest TikTok video either. Those talks revolved around family, love, marriage, and faith. That is what you will hear in the emergency room of a hospital. That is what it's about in the end. And people tend to see that more clearly during times of tragedy. But then again, there is absolutely nothing stopping us from thinking that way and having that attitude during times of celebration, like today. We are celebrating a lot today. So, I'm going to leave you with two requests. The first one, please remember, God favors life, not death. It is a core belief of ours that life is changed, not ended. And how long we live is not nearly as important as how we live. And request number two, at some point today, please give special thanks for something good in your life. A friend, your family, the deliciousness of bacon and jalapeno